Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I'm back sort of on my feet, but with extreme caution. Now, I'm alright walking about, I'm alright standing around, I'm alright sitting down, I'm alright lying down. The transition between all of those is still difficult, but it wasn't good. Sunday was bad. Yesterday, Monday, wasn't good. And it wasn't good in such a way that I thought, I'm not going round the shop, because things are looking up, things are getting better. If I do that walk to get round the shop, or attempt to get the car out, I'm probably going to make it worse. And as it's getting better, let's just let it do it. So we didn't go round the shop yet. I've just spent my time. I've got the Orchid Society books up to scratch. Sorted out all the banking, which I do need to go round to the shop for. It's all sat there ready to go for when I feel like it. Now today we've had, since I got woken up by heavy rain and wind, 4:30, thanks for that, cheers. And it's been raining ever since until recently. That's why I thought I'd have a go at filming, because it's actually stopped raining. It's been raining since I got up, and it's now it's now 11 o'clock. Is it 11 o'clock? Yes. So I was just thinking, have I changed the clock? So I need to water. Now this time of year you can get away with leaving your orchids for a bit. If you've got cool temps, with the shorter days and everything, you can get away with missing them for a bit. But I've got mounts out here, this is their fourth day without any water. So I was out Saturday and haven't been feeling so clever. So what I've decided to do, I need to water my pots. Now that involves bending down, lifting, turning, stretching, not doing it. But then I don't want the orchids to die. So I've gone down in the shed and got the big sprayer out. Now I haven't used that since back in the summer. And then I had a look and I'm nearly out of water. I'm nearly out of RO water, and I can't be doing with the RO unit, because basically that's outside, it's on the ground, it's bending down to get the water into the jug. Why bend over, why don't you? And fetching and carrying and all that, I'm not doing it, it's too much. I'll leave it for a couple of days till I can cope with it, if you see what I mean. So I've had to make the water do. So what I've got in the big sprayer, I put some boiling water in there and give it a good shake to sort of clean it out, sterilise it a bit. There's a bit of algae in the bottom. Well, there's still a bit of green in the bottom, but it's dead. It's had boiling water on it, so it's not active. And then I've put a jug of the filter water in there, which comes out at a TDS of about 170, 180, to give myself a start. And then I put some boiling water in that from the kettle to basically warm it up. And then we're down to sort of filling up the sprayer with the RO. I'm not trying to feed or do anything dramatic. I just want to get some water on plants so that they don't dehydrate and the roots start shrivelling up. Although in these low temperatures I can't see that happening. It's 17 out here at the moment. Is it 17 or 18? Somewhere between 17 and 18. Nothing's going to frazzle in those temperatures. So I'm just going to go around with the sprayer and everything gets some water. I'm not inspecting anything to see if it needs any water, because I know it does, because I know the last time it had some. So and now, as far as RO water is concerned, I have one of those left and that's it. Then I'm out of water. At a pinch I could use the filter jug water. At a pinch I could use the water out of the dehumidifier, although that would need warming up. But the dehumidifier water doesn't come out. Many people said, oh, that's distilled water, it'll be pure. Well, it's far from it. It comes out with a TDS of anything between 70 and 95. Those are the measurements I've taken so far. So it's not pure water, but it's purer than what comes out of the filter jug. The difference is what comes out of the filter jug is relatively known because it's cleaned up tap water to a degree. I don't really know much about the water that comes out of the dehumidifier, But in theory, it's water that's been taken out of the air in here, so it should be relatively clean, shouldn't it? So it should be okay. The only problem I've got is, I do have to carry this thing around with me, but this is going to be an awful lot easier. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid bending my back. Now that does mean my knees are taking a pounding, because when I need to get down low, like things like the cat's dishes, the cat food, you know, I need to pick their dishes up, put them down again when they're full, frequently, greedy little tykes. But yeah, what I'm trying to do is use my knees, so I need to pump this up. So instead of bending my back, we bend our knees. And then straighten up. So it's a bit heavy on the knees, but they'll survive. I'm dubious about whether my back will. And then I'm just going to we might have a blockage here, because that's not coming through very, yeah, it's not coming through at all well. So I think we'll have to take it apart. I need a cloth or something, because this is won't come undone because it's wet and I can't get hold of it. So I'm hoping that yeah, that's got it. There's something in there, a little bit of grit or something, because it's not flowing clean. This sprayer, all the component parts do actually come apart. Looks okay. What's it like now? Gush. So it's coming through to this bit all right. It was just the very end of it, the last little phase, but it looks clear now. Obviously quite a tiny hole in there. It looks like there's a little bit of dirt in there that if I don't get it out now, it's only going to get in that hole again. That's got it. Right, let's try that then. What I always do is I do it up tight and then undo it a bit, because I don't want a fine spray, I want a jet. That's better. Right, and now I've got to try and get to everything. So it'll be just a matter of using the lance and just getting through to where the pots are. And there's no way to judge how much water the pots are getting, they're just getting some. And that's all I can do. And some water is better than no water, which will be the alternative. Because getting all these pots down, manhandling them, you know, stretching up, that's why the black cloth's still up there, because it hooks onto hooks and I can't reach those hooks without stretching. Now under normal circumstances I'm quite happy to stretch and hook and unhook the black cloth, but not at the moment. I'm not stretching all up there. Minimum stretching, minimum bending, and just, well, basically do the minimum of stuff until this sorts itself out, which hopefully won't be long now. Just so if I've got enough water to get round all the pots in one go. Geese. I'm sure you heard them. Noisy, light as they are. But the river's just over the way, and the meadows either side of the river, well, mainly the other side because of the traffic noise, are feeding grounds for winter geese basically. But that noisy lot going over are Canada geese. They're not native to this country. They shouldn't be here basically, but they are. And The trouble is they're a lot bigger than our winter visiting geese that come down from the far north, and as a consequence of being a lot bigger they eat a lot more, and they can push our native winter feeding geese away from the feeding grounds by just being bullies basically. So you know, some of the feeding grounds are not as well populated as they used to be. And a lot of the larger flocks of the geese that come down from up north have become smaller, and that's not because there's less of them, it's because they've split up to try and find other places, you know, where they're not hounded quite so much. But you know, they lose their ability to settle down, that's the problem, and just feed. Ow! Luckily this thing pumps up and lasts quite a while before it needs pumping up again. Otherwise I'll be down there all the bloody time. Oh, there's another flower spike. I thought that was a new growth. So this flower spike here that's going to be open soon, there's another one coming up. Jolly good. The bit that's going to be difficult is getting to Derek's plants through that shelf. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. But we do what we can. I'm going to have to crouch down to do that back shelf. Ooh. Let's hope we don't knock everything over. Because Derek's plants are actually coming on quietly in the background there. Most of those were rootless. I have lost quite a few, including some very rare ones, but you know, you can only do what you can do, and I started off with a set of plants with virtually no roots. And some of them were in a bad way, you know, they were rotting and had to have bits cut off them. So I didn't start off with good plants, far from it. And I've done what I can with them, and those that survive, so be it. Those that don't, tough. This will be an awful lot easier when the number of plants goes right down, because obviously when they're close together like this, they're quite difficult to get the lance in between without knocking stuff over. Right, that's everything over there done, and I'll leave it at that as far as video is concerned, because most of the time I've got my back to you and all I'm doing is squirting plants now, but I just thought I'd basically say hello. I am still alive, just about, and surviving. This just takes me back to the times when I used to have to put up with this frequently, to one degree or another, you know, from being totally sort of disabled effectively by the pain, to just having a twinge now and again, and then quite a long gap, and then I'd have another session. So it just takes me back to there. And in those days, going right back there, I got told, go to a chiropractor and get yourself sorted out, and I did, and it did. And it did sort me out. Now this reoccurrence, I can tie it down to exactly what caused it. So what I need to know now is, has it put my back out to such an extent that I need help to push it back again and manipulate it, or did I just overdo it and it will just get better on its own? And I won't know that for another day or two, and then we'll find out. But if it keeps reoccurring, then we will go and see the lady again. But the one that I went to before doesn't work at that place anymore. Or if she does, they haven't got her picture up. You know, when you go to the website, it's got a picture with all their qualifications and everything. And the lady I saw in those days isn't there anymore. She might have gone off and started her own practice, I don't know. Anyway, that's yet to be determined. And those of you with the relative medical knowledge that said those out-of-date paracetamol will be fine to take, they just might not work quite as well as ones that are in date. Thanks for that, because that meant that that day I had some, well, there were only 2 doses in there, there were only 4 tablets. So I only had 2 doses, so I didn't even have a day's worth. But it helped me get going in the morning to enable that day to be a little more comfortable. But again, I'm going to get this spraying done, and then I'm going to see what else I can do. And if I feel up to it, I might try and walk around the shop. But I've got 2 reasons to go round there: to get some painkillers. By the time I get round there, I probably won't flipping need them, and to get the banking done. And I'm not prepared to do 2 trips. And the post office where I have to pay the banking in only opens till lunchtime today, because it's their half day on Wednesday, because they open Saturday mornings. So if I can't get there by lunchtime, which I doubt, then it can wait till tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. I spoke to Lynn on the phone yesterday, and she was a trifle worried that our trip to Burnham's to the Devon Orchid Society was off because of my back. If my back's still bad on Sunday at the end of this week, then I'm in serious trouble. So, they are noisy, aren't they? So, you know, getting to an Orchid Society show will be the least of my problems if it's still bad on Sunday. But at the end of the day, it's a drive, it's a sitting down thing. I've got some plants to take with me. That's not heavy. You know, there's not too many. It's a box that can go in the car. But at the moment, I haven't even unloaded the car from Saturday's Orchid Society meeting. I'm dreading it, because some of the stuff that's in that back of that car is what's done the damage. So, you know. And, oh, another thing, you know my bonsai staging that I did an unboxing for? Did I do that on this channel? I think I probably did it on the bonsai channel, so you might not have seen that, but I bought some staging that's got to be put together, and because I liked it, I bought a second one. Now that arrived yesterday, and I thought, there's no way I'm lifting and carrying that. So when the post lady, Postman Patricia rather than Postman Pat, arrived, I said, I've injured my back, can you do me a favour and carry it to my, you know, carport so that it's under cover? Certainly, sir. So she brought it in and stood it up in the back of the carport, so I don't need to touch that now until such time as I'm able and are thinking of putting it together and doing the staining. So, while we're on that subject, the bonsai channel, there's only about 25 more subscribers needed to actually get me up to 1,000. So, you know, if you can do me that favour, the link is in the description. If you're on a device that doesn't show descriptions or you have difficulty, you can just search for Roger's Bonsai on YouTube. You'll get there, you know. There's enough videos loaded there now with enough popularity for the search to work. You know, I'm not going to be buried on page 10 or something like that. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed over on that channel, it would be great if you could just hurry that up to get me up to that 1,000. I've got a new bloom to show you, which I will do, and then I'll get on with my watering. I've actually got 2. Just noticed another one out of the corner of my eye. But that's not properly open, and we don't want all the eggs in one basket, do we? So we'll just do this one. What we've got here is Sotoanum is slowly opening. And this is a parent of the Twinkles, one of the parents. And I'm not going to be able to focus on these blooms because I won't be able to hold it still enough. But you can see where the Twinkle gets its shape from, looking at these. And these are highly fragrant. Now, as Sotoanums go, this is a lousy plant. This is one of Derek's. And at least it's one that I've managed to get some roots going and a growth good enough to actually push out 2 spikes. So, you know, like I said, some of Derek's plants are coming on okay now. But some of these buds have blasted. That might be the lack of water, who knows. Anyway, there's an Oncidium type over there. I think it's Tiger Tail that's just opening, but they're cup shape at the moment, so you can't see them properly anyway. So we'll get to that another time. Right, so that'll do for today. That'll get posted later today. I want to get this watering done, so that at least if there's any water on any of the more delicate parts of the plants, hopefully it'll have had time to sort of evaporate into the air by the time we get, because the temperatures are going now. We've had a very, very mild spell, and now it's starting to get cold, so we will start to get the colder temperatures now. So look out, you black hair types, look out, you phalaenopsis types, dendrobiums, and you cattleyas. You're about to get cold. Right, I shall crack on with this, and thanks for all your messages. You know, it's not nice. I mean, you know, I've got people I watch sort of regularly like that, and you know, when somebody goes missing, it's you know, you sort of wonder how they are. I mean, I've been on YouTube long enough to know that some people have gone missing and you don't ever see them again. You know, so people worry. But thanks for your thoughts and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I am still alive. I won't say I'm singing and dancing and jumping up and down, because I'm not, but we're getting there. That's the main thing. So yeah, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.